Amidst the mental health crisis, the NHS has opened its first clinic to treat gambling addiction here in the northwest.
I suffered with a gambling addiction back in 2012. Started on online bingo sites and then quickly moved over to the slots. Quickly within sort of 6 months I'd racked up £10,500 on one credit card.
Greater Manchester ranks as one of the worst places for cervical cancer screening, but what does this mean for Salford residents?
It's a very quick and pretty painless procedure. It's more, I think, the embarrassment.
And what's on this weekend in Salford?
Hello and welcome to Salford Now, I'm Lee Lane.
And I'm Ria Wilding.
The first NHS clinic to help people with a gambling addiction has opened today at Salford Quays.
In England, more than 224,000 adults are classified as higher risk problem gamblers. Our reporters Ellie Gifford and Katie Flannery went to find out more.
And I used to just think I'll get in the car and go wrap it around a tree because there's only me in the tree then that'll get hurt and all this will just be done because I was in such a dark place.
This is just one example of the many cases of severe gambling addiction in the UK. Gambling addiction can affect not only a person's finances, but their mental and physical health also. To combat this, the NHS Gambling Service have opened a new clinic in Salford Quays today. Some of the treatment that they offer is psychological, addiction and mental health treatment in a bid to deal with what has been deemed as the nation's newest public health crisis.
Started on online bingo sites and then quickly moved over to the slots. Quickly within sort of 6 months I'd racked up £10,500 on one credit card, which sort of I'd then applied for a further 5 or 6 cards, racking up a total of £30,000 on credit cards alone. Which this had a sort of knock-on effect on everyday life and my finances, but also my mental health. Really suffered with my mental health, and I'd one day gone to town and put a £1,600 overdraft on one of our joint accounts. Spent that within an hour of getting back from town, so I'd snapped up the card and scratched away at my wrist, out of sheer anger and frustration really.
In England, around 224,000 people are classed as high-risk gamblers. However, fewer than 3% of people receive treatment or support.
There is a demand. I mean, the NHS has only had one clinic in London until recently, so I'm directing the 3 northern gambling clinics. We've got one here obviously in Manchester, and we've got one in Leeds and one in Sunderland that have already opened. So they're in high demand. We know only 3% of people are actually coming forward for support who have a gambling problem. So hopefully with this announcement today, it's going to inspire more and more people to come forward who need support.
Some other stories making the headlines today. Greater Manchester Police are behind a new scheme known as gangster tax. Criminals who have gained financially from their crimes can be ordered to pay back this money. The money will go towards helping to keep children off the streets and out of the crime in the most deprived areas in Salford.
The dream of saving one of most Salford's loved pubs has been destroyed by recent storms. The Woolpack, which was built in the 1970s, was the heart and soul of Salford. It was closed in 2008 and recently a campaign was launched to save it. But the damage caused by Storm Ciara and Dennis has now made the rebuild too expensive.
A man has died after falling from the bridge over the M602 in Eccles. Emergency services were called on a Sunday morning after reports that a man had fallen from a bridge. Greater Manchester Police have now confirmed a 60-year-old died because of his injuries.
And it's World Book Day today. If you've been sending your little ones off to school dressed up, then send your pictures to us. You can find us at Salford Now on social media. Here's one we've already got of Tanea. This is her dressed up as Harley Quinn. We have lots more of those at the end of the show. Every year, over 2,000 women are diagnosed with cervical cancer in the UK. Greater Manchester ranked low for cervical screenings last year.
In England, they came 12 out of the 14 regions. Our reporter Dulcie went to find out more.
I was on my way to cervical screening not exactly something you look forward to.
The screening rate of cervical cancer have hit a 20-year low in England. Cervical cancer is often curable if it's diagnosed at an early stage. However, up to a third of women in the UK are missing out on their screening tests. I went to see Rachel Welsh, one of the adult nursing lecturers at Salford University, in order to find out more about the complications of cervical cancer and the importance of the screenings.
If someone has actually started to develop cervical cancer, they may get things like irregular spotting or irregular bleeding, so in between their periods. They may also have discomfort when they're having sexual intercourse, but other than that, it can go quite some time without any symptoms, which is why we do the screening. I think it's really unfortunate that not as many women as that aren't coming for cervical screening. It is a life-saving procedure. We can catch cervical cancer before it develops into a cancer. It can catch it in the early stages. It's a very quick and relatively painless procedure, and I would urge women to come and have it done.
The NHS cervical screening programme invites all women from the age of 25 to 64 to attend the cervical screening.
It's a very quick and pretty painless procedure. It's more, I think, the embarrassment of having it done, but you have to remember that the nurse doing it has done it time and time again. To her, it's just routine, and it really isn't a big deal.
I asked a couple of women around Manchester who coincidentally have had their screening tests done and what their advice is for those who haven't.
Always go to be checked out if you're suspicious of anything in your body. Have it checked out. It might be all or nothing, but on the other hand, it could be, it could be advanced and it could be serious, and you could maybe then actually survive longer if you actually had treatment. So, it seems logical, doesn't it, really?
Just going in, lying on the bed, tell you how to position yourself, and then it just feels like a little bit like a scrape on the inside, and then it's done.
Don't be embarrassed, and it's better to be safe than sorry. And the older you get, the more of your bits that everyone sees when you have a kid, so don't worry about it.
The upcoming events taking place in Salford.
Thanks, Ria. In 2012, dancer Celine Gittins made history for being the first black ballerina to take on the dual role of Odette and Odile in Tchaikovsky's Swan Lake. This weekend, Celine will be reprising her iconic role at the Lowry Theatre in the Birmingham Royal Ballet production. The performance, which premiered last night, will run until Saturday, March 7th. Now for something with a harder edge, the rock music collective Scruff at the Neck will be hosting a Salford takeover at the Eagle Inn this Saturday. Contemporary rock group Sweet Crisis will be the headliners of the night, alongside 3 other up-and-coming UK acts. Mr, The Common View and Little Triggers will also feature on the night. And finally, in sport, Manchester City midfielder Kevin De Bruyne is expected to miss this weekend's derby due to a shoulder injury. United have not lost since their 2-0 defeat to Burnley in January, but Pepe Guardiola must now travel to Old Trafford on Sunday, missing one of his key players. A win for United could help Liverpool on the way to their first league title in 30 years. Back to you.
And now we have Jessie with the latest weather forecast.
As you can see, today has started off with some light cloud and sunshine with highs of 7 degrees and lows of 1. But unfortunately, this isn't going to last too long, with the day becoming increasingly overcast as we move into the late afternoon. For those of you attending tomorrow's rugby fixtures at AJ Bell, you can expect brighter spells throughout the game, which will see the Sale Sharks face off against the London Irish. As we progress into the weekend, things are looking just as unpredictable, with a mix of sun and showers, and with highs of 11 degrees on Saturday. From me and the team at Salford Now, enjoy your weekend.
Today's World Book Day. Lee, what's your favourite book?
Well, can I say 50 Shades of Grey? I'm joking, yeah. No, I would say that it would be probably Caitlyn Jenner, Secrets of My Life. I think it's a lovely read, a book to read, because her journey is just so sad, the struggle that she went through.
Absolutely.
But also a wee bit of juice in there, get to hear about Kris Jenner and the marriage.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
a little bit of juice, don't we?
I'll have to have a listen of that one.
Oh, happy days.
Well, you've been sending loads of photos, and this is Alba. Okay, that's all from us today. Thank you for watching. I'm Ria Weldon.
And I'm Ian McAleen. Thank you very much.
Goodbye.